Hey guys, it's Adam Rose, Vice President, Senior Loan Officer of Western Ohio Mortgage here in Sydney, Ohio, and this is another episode of the Mortgage Guy Podcast. And this week, we are going to learn about whole house inspections with arm's length inspections. I always want to say arm's length transactions because we talk about that when we do our disclosures with borrowers. I have the owner of Arm's Length Inspections, Josh Wolver. Josh, thank you for taking the time this morning because I know we have a lot of stuff going on, right, in your life.
Absolutely.
So we always have to get these things scheduled at certain times that work out because you have a day job, you have arm's length inspections, you've got a lot of stuff going on. So you've seen the show. The first thing I usually do is we ask, do you have an irrational fear? So some of our audience members can get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, I do have an irrational fear. I'm not really afraid of much.
Yeah, because I heard you're kind of a daredevil, jumping out of planes all the time, and
I
all
usually
that.
try to see how far I can push that.
Right.
That's where I go. How close can I get?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess my irrational fear would be the dark water.
Yeah,
as we discussed, I don't know what it is, man. If I'm in open water at night, swimming by myself, something's going to get me.
Yeah. We were talking about this earlier. I had the same fear. Not that I test the waters today as an adult, but like when I was a kid, I was talking about when we had a pool and, this is the 90s, right? So we don't have these hard covers or anything like that where it keeps all the leaves out and we lived out in the middle of nowhere. And that first time you pull that cover off the pool and it is like black, like it is just full of leaves and everything. And, as a kid, you never want to stop. As soon as it comes open, it doesn't matter if it's clean or not, you want to jump in. But always had that memory of Jim Carrey on Ace Ventura, right? When on the first one, when he finds the big tank at the party and he thought he was finding Snowflake and then a great white shark pops out in that dark water. Man. So that's why I always picture. So I get it 100%. Yeah. So we got that out of the way. So we're not swimming in any kind of nighttime lakes or ponds or anything like that, even in a swimming pool.
Oh, I'll do it, but it's still in the back of my head.
You got it. Yeah. It's still bothering you.
Still looking behind me.
So Josh, why don't you give us a little bit of background on yourself? Where do you live? Where are you from? Family. What's that look like? Work history.
I'm a resident here of Shelby County, right here in Sydney, and I primarily do a bunch of tree work. I've been doing that for 20-some years, actually. But as I'm well diverse. I do many different things. I'm married, Misty Wolaver, very proudly married to her. Very good. And we have lots of grandkids. A lot of grandkids. Just had a brand new baby.
Yeah. I saw that on Facebook, actually. Congratulations.
Oliviana Grace. She was, 6 pounds, 7 ounces, 18 inches long. She was just a little.
You're too young to have that many grandbabies.
Oh, man.
Or is the beard throwing me off?
Oh, it's the beard.
Are you using the just for men, keeping it nice and dark? Because I get gray.
Oh, man. Yeah. No, those are all from her son.
Yep.
Alan, and we got one on the way, actually, her daughter.
Yeah.
Her daughter's getting ready to have another one here about 7 weeks. It's close. It's close. Jasper Ray, expecting that one there. He'd be the only grandson so far.
All girls, huh?
Most of them, all biological grandson. There's 2 others that are sons, but
So you're busy.
We're busy. Busy. Oh man, it's just a lot of babies going around.
Yeah, and you work construction as well.
Yep.
Is that right?
I do work construction. I do work for DNS Construction.
Shout out to Sean Rank at DNS.
Oh yeah. Hey Sean, how you doing? This is what I do on my
Hopefully you're watching.
Yep. So I'm well diverse.
Good.
There's not much I don't do these days.
Well, it's a good background, especially for whole house inspection. Not you're not just going through the classes and getting licensed and then going out and applying it. You've seen it, right? You've dealt with it on a regular basis. It's not so it's a little bit easier, to catch things. I would think. Yeah. Right. You know what you're looking for outside of classroom study.
I tell people if you can build it, you can inspect it.
Right.
You might not know code, but you know what bad looks like.
Right. Yes.
You know that ain't going to fly.
Yeah, for sure. So let's educate some of our buyers out there that are watching this. What do you feel is the purpose of the whole house inspection? Because here's where I come from. From a lending standpoint, some borrowers are very touchy on their out-of-pocket expense because they can't quite afford, appraisal and this and that, and they get a little stressed out. I mean, I've talked about it before about what to expect on out-of-pocket expense. I think I did that a couple weeks ago, and we should be saving for these things. Now, from an inspection standpoint, it is not a requirement for financing, but we highly advise, right? Because like I said, it's a buyer beware, right? Because there's things that are going to get missed that you might live in that property, and now we have a problem. So what do you feel the purpose of the home inspection truly is? The purpose,
the scope, the main thing is to give the buyer an inside look at what they don't see. Obviously, it sounds simple.
Right.
But they don't live there. They've not lived there the past 10 some years.
Right.
They have no idea what they're walking into. So the idea is you have a trained professional like myself and many other inspectors who offer a fine quality of doing it themselves to go inside to meticulously take apart the house. There's to find everything that's wrong with the home. The scope of it is what's material, what's really going to cost them some money to fix. Foundation, roof, faulty plumbing, stuff like that. The heating and air conditioning, that's what we're really looking for, is the big ticket items.
Right.
There's all kinds of little things, it's chipping paint, it's got a little crack in the siding. That stuff may be in a report, but for me personally, it's meat and potatoes. What's really going to be a safety issue? What's going to cost them some money? They're going to replace that roof in the next couple of years. They're going to have a furnace replaced. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing to keep your eye out for, because those big ticket items. I mean, even HVAC. If you had to replace the HVAC system, you're looking, ranges of anywhere from $6,000 to $12,000-$14,000. It just depends. Depends on the size of the home and what's going on. Do they need to do duct work? It's the same thing with plumbing. So I mean, and it's not a knock on sellers. Sellers, you shouldn't take it that way, that they're doing this inspection, because there might be things wrong with the home that you haven't even noticed. Because again, you're going into things that aren't your everyday, you're getting your eyes on, right? You're just living in the property. You're not going through the crawl space of the home and double check to make sure, every time you flush the toilet that we don't have a drain that's leaking or anything like that, or when we're running water. That stuff happens over time.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? It's like owning your car. You don't lift open the hood and look at your engine and check all the stuff on
right.
there.
We're not tuning it up.
Every single day you go get gas. You just put gas in it, and when you hear something, you finally get it checked.
Yeah. So on this topic, what are you looking for? Like, what's that process look like when you step into a home, or you might not step into the home first? You might be outside.
Oh, no,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's your process look like in a nutshell?
So in a nutshell, what I do is I'll walk up to the property, and it sounds kind of funny, but when you get into this situation, you kind of look at the house, like, what are you trying to tell me? What the house is speaking, like, is there something wrong with you? Is there loose shingles?
Right.
Is there something that's there that shouldn't be? Just at a glance is looking. And then I go in and I start poking around. I'll step on the roof. I'll look at different aspects of it. Is the roof line kind of wonky looking, Are there cracks that aren't quite noticeable because of vegetation growing up?
Right.
So I'm really taking a closer look at what's obviously there, but it's been just overlooked out the years.
Sure. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So as I go through, meticulously from the roof down to the basement, and all the intricacies in between, all the different components of the home, the plumbing, the electrical, does things work? I turn on the dishwashing machine. Does it run its full cycle without leaking?
Right.
Do the fan lights turn on? Does the stove turn on like it's supposed to? I'll check outlets, check windows. Just really going through it thoroughly, making sure that when a homeowner comes in, if they're expecting to just move in and live and start making memories, they can do that. They're not going to find these surprises later on.
Right. So actually, on that topic, you sent me a video of a recent find that the seller may not have even been aware of. Is that right?
Yeah. This is very, very interesting on this particular point here. Yeah. Because this homeowner, because of health issues, decided to move. They just had their home redone, ADA qualified. Somebody with a wheelchair or disabilities could go into this home, and it's perfect setup for them. He had mentioned about $16,000. He paid someone to redo their shower situation.
Okay.
So his wife, who was bedridden, could go in, do her deal, and can be fine.
Yeah.
I inspected this shower, and I crawled up underneath the roof. In the crawl space. And there's a thing called a plenum for your HVAC. It returns the air so it can be circulated throughout the house. I crawled up underneath of that, and there was only like a 2-foot space.
Yeah, that's small. Yeah.
Up and behind it is where this linear drain was for a shower.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not familiar with a linear drain, you have the regular circular or
Right.
square ones. This one's long.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So up underneath and into that, tucked underneath the sill plate, was where this was like raining down.
Oh my
You
God.
couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
You had to see it. The only way to see it was to really get up in there.
Yeah. So those are some of the things that whole house inspectors are looking for. Obviously, it's not going to be that blatant all the time. Hey, look at this, it's raining water here.
Yeah.
But it might be small things. Something like if you have like a gas furnace, right, and you have an exhaust on it.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be double checking for things like making sure there's no leaks in that, because that's a carbon monoxide.
Oh yeah, there's some
or
there's
dioxide, whatever.
A lot of inspectors have those.
I'm not a scientist.
Little
right?
gas snifters that sniff around and make sure there's
right.
no leaks. For
yeah,
sure.
yeah, that's a big
Yep.
danger, right?
Yep.
So we're off on that topic. So someone comes up to you, they say, hey, or calls you, I'm buying a house, I want to get a whole house inspection. What's the primary goal for you as the whole house inspector to achieve for that borrower? Like what are you trying to accomplish for them? And it kind of rolls into after that, what's that buyer going to do with this information?
So what happens is somebody calls me up and says, hey, looking to buy a house, I need to hire an inspector.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you charge? Everybody's always wants
That's
to know how
always
much
the
you
question.
charge. Yeah,
right?
How much do you charge for an inspection? And what some people are going for is they want the cheapest guy with the highest professional results. And that just doesn't happen.
It doesn't.
It does not happen. You can't say you get what you pay for, but you need to check your inspectors out. Call them, ask them questions. I don't know any inspector that doesn't like talking about inspections.
Right.
That's what we do. So find out, is that inspector a good fit for you? The price might be a little on the higher side, but what do they offer? Are they offering stuff that other people aren't? So what the deal here is you got to be comfortable with the person inspecting your home, because you're going to be there with them.
Right.
Typically, I have the person come in the last half hour of the inspection, and I'll give a verbal summary of what I found.
Sure.
And the idea is to allow that buyer to say, oh, wow, okay, so the big bad inspection's done.
Mm-hmm.
What did you find? How horrible is the situation? And typically what they find is it's not as bad as they think. The inspection is just there to give you peace of mind so that you know, moving forward, if there was anything that needed to be fixed, these are things you can systematically check off.
Right.
Yeah, that's basically what a home inspection is for, and that you're not buying somebody else's problems.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And some of the information, once that buyer gets that inspection, a lot of times they're going to meet with their real estate agent and discuss some of the findings. Obviously, they want to discuss those findings with you to hit, hey, what are the high points of what I should be really concerned about here? And then that buyer can take that information and knowledge that you provided them and start negotiating again with the seller. Like if there's some hot items.
Yeah, the purpose for me, specifically pointing a finger at me, is my goal is to hand a report to my client, who is the real estate agent's client, and not just absolutely murder their PIA, their post-inspection addendum, right? It's not the idea.
You don't want 30-line items.
Yeah.
I've seen those. That sucks.
You don't want that client saying, well, I want this, and this fixed. No. Those stuffs may need fixed. Absolutely. And guess what? The grass needs mowed too. Yeah. But that's not going to be in my report. So these are heavy hitting items, so it gives that client, if they're trying to negotiate a deal and the seller just doesn't want to move any, like, well, guess what? We have some issues here. It's going to cost me a lot of money. There's got to be a give and take.
Right.
So at the end of the day, if anything, the buyer can use that report for their future use to fix the home. And in those nitty gritty situations, maybe they can be negotiating points.
Right.
Nobody wants to buy a house where we just seen a brand new shower that's leaking is going to cost them thousands to fix.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a big stress reliever, right?
Yeah.
Because no one wants to get caught off guard with a surprise repair.
No, yeah,
right.
That's just horrible.
It's one of those things with we want to just say, hey, welcome to home ownership, right?
Yeah.
That's the old school way of saying it. Well, you own a home now, it's your problem, but you don't want to be surprised by it. So at least if you can't get that negotiated or fixed prior to closing, at least they know what they're walking into, and they can start preparing for it. Whether they need to start saving a little bit more money, they can start pricing out some of this stuff. They can start lining up a contractor if they can't do it themselves. So they're prepared.
That's the thing,
and ready to go.
People are buying a home, and they have some of them. They can barely afford to pay for the inspection.
Right, exactly.
Or it's not that they can barely afford it. It's just nobody just has that money just pull out on top of already purchasing a home.
Yeah.
Especially if they brung some down to the table, they gotta put some up.
Yeah.
It's
very stressful.
And now they discover, oh crap! Now I got all these other bills I got to pay for to fix this home to even live in it.
Yeah.
And then maybe they would have not made the same choices had they had known the information before.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the majority of what I wanted to cover today with you, and I think you gave us a lot of good information. Now I do have a question, or do you have something else on you?
Oh no, I didn't have anything. I was just reiterating. Just the some people will ask, do I have to have a home inspection?
Right.
Do I have to have it? And I mean, the idea is you don't have to have a full tank of gas either.
No, you do not.
But
it's a good idea to have it.
You do. It's a good idea. So if you want to go in blind, if you just want to go on that long trip and not check the oil, not check the gas, you want to go in blind to buying a home and not do anything about it, buyer beware.
Exactly. That's what it is. Buyer beware. Because I get those phone calls sometimes. Say, hey, this is the problem. This is the problem. Say, I think you guys closed on your house 8 months ago. I don't.
On that leaky shower video.
Yeah.
It cost $325 to do that home inspection. It saved him thousands on a shower repair.
Right.
So you got to weigh your options.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, Josh, if someone wanted to contact you, and here's the thing, guys, you don't have to be buying a house to get a whole house inspection.
Oh, no.
You might have been living there for a few years and you want to get it checked out. I've actually entertained doing that myself. Checking for mold, there's all radon. There's all kinds of things that you can do as a homeowner now, just to make sure your home is up to par and there's no additional issues that have creeped up on you that you haven't found yet. So, with that in mind, if someone wanted to contact you, what's the best way to do it?
Pick up the phone, give me a call. It's always on me. 937-507-5594. Arm's length inspections is what you're going to hear, and you're going to get a hold of me directly.
Very good. So we're going to plug that information onto our YouTube channel. So if you guys do have questions, you just want to inquire and talk to him about it and what that process looks like, pricing, anything, give him a shout, and he will get you squared away. And that's all we have for this week, guys. So remember, when you're watching the video, like it, love it, share it with your friends, right? Subscribe on YouTube, and check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and we will see you again next week.
See ya.